Hey guys, what's up? Hope everything is good. And today we're going to take a look at the update that came out yesterday, the 29th of January 2020, and had updates for DE Dust 2, DE Train, and DE Mirage. So starting out with DE Mirage here, which had a number of changes. The first one, and quite a big one, being that this balcony here, you can see the sides were lowered. So really a very simple change, but a big difference to gameplay. One thing I've always found with this map as terrorist, if I go back here, when you're actually coming into B, there's so many spots to worry about. Someone can just sit underneath car and spot heads, and obviously have to worry about these two windows here. But now it's a lot easier to clear car and a lot harder for CTs to just stay in a position that you can't see them and they just spray you down as you come out. Of course, it's still possible, but if you have a CT sitting here, for example, as T, if I just go back to the palace and walk forward slowly, it's a much more even fight, and you wouldn't expect to see as many gimmicky plays by CT just sitting under there and waiting to see a heads before the terrorists can really see them. Also, I expect things like a boost back here would be really good to get an early spot onto car. You can clear that area out, and then some nice set smokes or mollies. You can get into B-bomb site a lot cleaner and a lot easier. A really good change. From a CT perspective, I also really like the change. It just looks really clean and favours gameplay, which is something that I think is really crucial in a game like this. So such a small change, but really I just love it from both a terrorist perspective and a CT perspective. Nice and clean, and also favours gameplay. The next and most significant change is this little bench here, and this little bench actually changes the map significantly. So as T, you can hop on it and see short, which opens things up very early on. You can also see into window room and of course ladder room. Now if I just no clip up to ladder room here, say you are CT, you can actually see the edge of the bench, which opens up some possibilities for some early round fights between the terrorists and the counter terrorists. And then if I hop back down to mid here, the most significant change this brings is the ability as T to self boost quickly up into the window room. This is something that could have a massive impact on the game. As CT, if you are playing mid in that window room, you're going to have to sit and wait a lot more for that boost, or as it is now, that jump to come. You can still hear it when they jump off the bench. You can't do this jump walking, so you will have a bit of a sound trigger, but still it's going to be very interesting to see how this changes the game. I think a good thing will be for someone top mid to pop flash someone into that window room and try and kill the guy who's holding it on an angle. But anyway, we'll see what this brings in the coming months. Next change on this map is that they've made this top part of mid towards T spawn deeper. So as T, you can actually sit back here and have a bit more connector control and a bit more mid control. You can see straight into connectors, you can see there. Also, something that I think will be interesting as CT would be early on, say you are opening mid, is to drop down, stand on the bench and take a fight top mid. Again, using the bench to just get a few more early round gunfights. Last couple of changes now, so they've added this panel here to stop CTs from being able to take fights and shoot people on short without the terrorists being able to see them, and they made this wall in terrorist apartments spammable. So this spot is only spammable with an AWP, but it will be interesting in the coming weeks to see what wall banks people come up with. There'll be a lot of lineups, I'm sure, but it will stop people from playing close up against that wall, or at least have to think twice before doing it. And you also probably see some nice lineups to the bomb site and to CT spawn. Onto DE Train now. There's been some small visibility issues that have been fixed and some other minor bug fixes, which I'm not too sure what they are, to be honest. But the big thing here is that they've opened up the skybox towards a bomb site from Ivy. So you can see here I'm just throwing some random smokes in the air, nothing that I practiced, and just by throwing one I actually get a decent smoke onto the bomb train. It's not going to be the most helpful one, but you know, it's just an example how that in a couple of weeks you'll see some crazy lineups from Ivy that will smoke off probably T main and so forth. It's going to be very interesting to see how this changes the map in high competitive play. So on to Dust 2 now, and we have a pretty significant change, and also a change that is long overdue. If I come into the B tunnels now and look in the air, you can see the roof has been partially destroyed or mostly destroyed, and it's opened up the skybox. So now you can do some smokes like this into the B-bomb site, and what that means is, just messed up the first one, but here we go. So instead of actually having to run in a death line through this little gap here, and then when you get in having to smoke the door before you can cross, you can actually set up your smokes before you actually execute the bomb site. It just makes it a lot better as terrorist, and is a great change, and again, like I said, it is long overdue. Just a quick note that it is only the B bomb site skybox that has been removed, so you can see if I try and throw smokes as CT away from the B bomb site, there's still a skybox there. So this has just been put in place to help the T's execute onto the B bomb site only. And then finally, we have an update for DE Cache. Now this is basically just Valve updating the version of cache they use to be a more recent version. FMPone actually released this version quite a while ago, a few months ago now, but Valve haven't updated the version they use in game for a while. So this is just bringing it up to date, and you just see some visibility improvements. Now these are quite good improvements in most places. There's no bad improvements, to be fair. The visibility, it still isn't as good as I would like to see. I still do, if I'm honest, prefer the old version of cache by quite a bit. This version to me is just a lot more cluttered and a lot more difficult. I really like clean maps rather than maps with a lot of clutter everywhere, which, to be fair, this one doesn't have, but it just has visibility issues despite this update. But it's definitely a step in the right direction and is better than the previous version of cache. So that is everything I wanted to cover. This is one of my favourite updates for a long time. Every single improvement I think is a step in the right direction. Visibility, of course, is always a good thing, which is done by FMPone and Volcano, of course, on cache. But the changes they've made to Mirage came completely out of the blue for me. I didn't expect them at all, and I think they're all in the right direction in terms of giving you more opportunities as terrorists to just take some more early fights, and I think it helps the balance of those maps quite a bit. We'll have to see what those changes are in the coming weeks, but overall I'm very impressed that Valve have actually gone out of their way and made that change. Same with Dust 2. I think opening the skybox was an easy win and something they should have done quite a while ago, but it's good to see them recognizing this and making that change. Overall, a great update and one of the best we've seen in some time. So I'll see you in the next video.